Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to a scene for a Death of a Dark Crusade set in Constantinople. It has been a long journey. For many of you, perhaps ignoring the gang roll, it has been a fairly trying 3 weeks. Sorry, just wanting to chat. It has been a very trying 3 weeks on the road with not too many mortals to feed off of, scarce and most likely dirty water supplies. And daylight marauders plaguing the roads. It has not been easy. And if anything, this event teaches you why Cainite travel is such a seldom seen affair, even for large events such as these. But you have all made it. And upon entry to the great domain of Constantinople, birthplace of the dream, home to some of the greatest Cainites to ever walk this earth, you are directed to the Lady Gabriella of Genoa. Very pale-looking La Sombra, with dark reddish hair, wearing all black on the night of Elysium, befitting her clan. She ensures everybody, along with her retinue of Chalder and other La Sombra neonates, make sure that everybody is accounted for. This is a very large event. As you have taken some time off to feed, perhaps arriving a night before, see that the rack is almost full to bursting. In fact, it probably wouldn't last more than a few days before the immediate effects of Cainite overpopulation became apparent. Cainites litter the streets, they litter the alleyways, they litter the taverns, the inns, the buildings, the estates, the walls. This is probably the most populated you've ever seen a city been. It also almost gives you reason to wonder what it must have been like at its apex, or if this is just a result of such a famous city hosting such a profitable event. But on the night of the auction, its first half, a night of Elysium, you make your way to the palace, the the Blackernai Palace. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. A very large and fairly old palace complex. Not the largest, and certainly not the only one. but one of a few that largely survived the sacking of Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade. And as you enter its halls, you see an immense gathering of dozens, maybe even hundreds of Canaanites. Many here to bid on various items, others here to mingle with the social elite, those they'd never otherwise have an opportunity to deal with. Maybe it's been being used as a meeting for various clans. Of course, others here to bid, here to participate in the main event. And that is where we begin this scene, in this very large hall, this grand hall. Many archways and seating areas. Large pillars and stained glass windows. Various Canaanites kind of hanging off the balconies and even the walls. You see a few shapeshifting gangrel around. And that is where you begin, in the middle of this giant crowd.
Well, Madeline, for her part, having arrived a day at least before, she might actually have been here for a little while. She is mingling. Mostly with, actually with pretty much anyone who just seems to pique her interest.
Well, speak of the devil, you have had the great pleasure of being able to catch up with various Odessan Canaanites that have left the city over time. Most notably, the new Keeper of Elysium of Vera, and one of the donators to this auction, Beatrice. She seems very happy to catch up with you ever since you met her in Vera a few months ago. You also catch up with some of your Venetian colleagues from the clan, associates of Orsini.
Ooh. Yeah.
Here to peruse this evening's fineries. Maybe not participate in the auction, but formulate other deals with the Mediterranean Canaanite life. They're actually here to discuss business with Canaanites from Antioch and Tarsus, of all things. Not actually here to associate with Odessan Canaanites, but they are happy that they've been able to meet you. Always good to catch up. It's been such a long time. I haven't seen you in decades.
She will, of course, say that she's flattered that they thought of her, and, she will be as pleasant as always.
And of course, you meet the Seneschal, because obviously he is here.
She bows deeply.
He doesn't have too much to say to you. He is largely mingling with Canaanites you've never seen before.
Okay.
But do speak with him. Should you require any bidding to be done, and you just happen to lack the funds, he is happy to compensate. So long as you provide him with a service in return. But he does not define what that is.
She is very grateful. She will just say that she's very grateful for the offer, and we'll keep it in mind.
Saladrin, You also run into a lot of Setites.
Snaky friends.
Yes, quite a few have made their way here. In fact, there's several from Edessa. There is your Primogen, and who is doing some independent perusing for this evening, and Hakaib, who of course had to be here after all. He donated one of the items. He too, as a matter of clan unity, he does offer to assist you in purchasing anything, as he did manage to accrue a significant amount of bidding currency due to his own donations, and well, there are several things that strike his fancy.
Slaughtered politely nods along with the statement. He will say, "We all are here for a single reason, Akaib. We are here for the greater glory of Set. One way or the other, whatever we purchase will be in his name."
He very much agrees with you. He does, however, note that he has made a similar offer to the Primogen, but he'll see what he can do to accommodate both of you. There's nothing really here currently strikes his fancy, other than perhaps the spear. The spear interests him purely from a self-defense perspective, but nothing else. Maybe the jewelry box.
The kind of very languid, snaky movement that Slaughtered does. He will say, "So, I'm curious. You've been here for some time arranging your deals, listening in at corners. I'm curious, who will be the big players on what, do you know? Who has true desire burning in their hearts, and for what?"
He points at this guy.
God damn it, Omer! Sorry, continue.
Yay!
Speaking of that guy, Irene.
Yes?
You have been wandering through this Elysium, dare I say, helplessly, like a lost child.
How dare you?
It's true.
No, it would be a lost child that would be very interested in architecture.
There you go. There you go.
Sort of.
Okay, no, I am right. Irene, you have been wandering around this Elysium for some time on your own. It's a little bit daunting being around so many Canaanites. Your existence has been fairly short, and even for some older Canaanites, this is a very populated space. This is the largest Elysium you've been in ever.
I mean, that's not a real surprise, no.
No, but you do run into your sire. And you do run into Omar Shadid.
Yay. Curtsy.
Omar, for his part, is, well, kind of reveling in his wealth. You're not sure if it's manufactured or not. But it's probably accurate. It's Omar Shadid after all.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never scam anybody. He'd never lie. No, this is an honorable gentleman. He's entirely above board. He's a good man. He is, like, just look at that face. That is the face of, just literally the face of innocence. Like, you wish you could look as, like, saintly as this guy.
By the way, Bishop, what was I told that he wanted in particular? Because I was pointing, he said he didn't actually say what he wanted.
No, you think he's after several things. Hakaib, I'll PM them to you, because Hakaib actually knows some of them, not necessarily all of them, but he has spilled the beans to Hakaib a little bit. But your dear sire, your lovely sire, approaches you, and he states he'll be betting on a couple of things. and I'll PM them to you.
Okay. And courtesy for sire, of course, because sire and prince, sort of combined package there.
And for Saladrin,
Is it me?
this is what Haki told you. God. There you go. And Aldrich.
Oh,
You run into the host for this evening, Gabriella.
hey, babe, how's it going? I doesn't say that.
She was going to say, say that to me again. I'll have you impaled outside the walls.
Don't threaten me with a good time, babe. No.
Okay, Britain's 5 incoming.
No, he uses maximum etiquette.
Maximum etiquette. She does kind of, like a lot of La Sombra do, she's actually a little bit like the Seneschal in that she exudes something of an air of authority about her. She's very polite, but she has a sort of sternness to her, or a straightforwardness.
Mm.
She tends to cut through the wheat and chaff, as it were. But as you're conversing with her, you feel a voice inside your head.
Mm-hmm.
You see the image of God damn it, where is it? This man.
Oh shit!
As he says, I have no doubt that you will acquire that arm for me. It is very abrupt, and he comes without introduction into your mind.
In the middle of the conversation with the Lasombra, Aldrich feigns a cough into a hand.
Gabriella looks at you because Canaanites don't cough.
Hmm. My apologies. Thought I'd felt something in my throat. It was unnerving.
She kind of just stares at you, narrows her eyes and says, yes, we're well known for our capacity to breathe, aren't we?
Still frightening. Things that could crawl inside.
Do you doubt our capacity to hold an Elysia of this scale?
Nonsense. Not at all.
Well, then there's nothing to be so nervous about, or to mislead me about. Good evening. She walks away.
Bigger. That is a big...
Aldrich just goes Lysambra, but not out of his mouth because that would be stupid.
Yeah, it's not like this court is ran by several Lysambra.
Mm,
Go back to her head for a second.
Everything about that guy just screams Tremere Lord, from the I have no pallor worth determining in my face to the robes. Do I clearly have a stick shoved up my ass?
Yes, that's basically this character. I quite done. Good. I look forward to seeing your results.
look forward to presenting them.
He leaves your mind. And at the far end of the hall, Aldrich, you've kept track of her because you were speaking with her and may have pissed her off a little bit. The rest of you see at the far end of the hall see Gabriella walk up onto a I suppose you could call it like a stage. It's an elevated surface. Where there also happens to be a mount pedestal for her to stand upon. And besides her is a very large table. Actually, two large tables directly beside her. Very ornate, rich dark wood. And the edge of it is surrounded by armed Canaanites. Very heavily armed Canaanites, as in they are armed with very dangerous, fiery-looking weapons. And she begins to speak and then realizes that this is the room filled with dozens of Canaanites. Getting her voice across is going to be a pain in the ass. And you see someone bring up a very large... from the distance you're at, it looks like a hunk of metal. And they put it down next to her. And she smashes it like a gong with copious amounts of potence, causing a very large echoing metallic sound to ripple out across the entire hall. And everybody just kind of turns in her direction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for attending the Elysium of our good Prince Alfonso. I can tell you it is an absolute honor to have all of you here this evening. And I hope that tonight has already proven prosperous for you. But it is time for the event that so many of you have been waiting for. The auction that has drawn so many of you to this exalted city. The auction will be taking place within 5 minutes. If any of you who have not already collected bidding currency have not done so, you have until I smash that symbol into the floor to buy some. So please, by all means. And about a dozen Canaanites begin walking up. A couple from the back of the hall. This is a very large hall. Begin running up. It can take up to like a minute or two to actually get across to the other side from to her to begin purchasing bidding currency, of which she is making very scrupulous notes of, along with a notary doing the same alongside her.
Bishop, if I could, since Prince Ulrich is standing with Omar Shteed and the dear Irene, look at her being all dear over there. Hi, dear.
Hi.
Saladrin sidles his snaky ass over and he bows respectfully. And he will say, oh, good evening, gentlemen, my lord, Lady Irene. I hope that this evening finds you well.
Quite well. I'm quite curious as well. How about yourself? I have no doubt you have interest in what's on offer.
One or two things for a humble servant of a greater power, my lord. That is all. But I am curious, my lord. As you are no doubt aware, one of our friends' reliquaries has once again resurfaced itself. Hey presto, ooh la la. I merely wished to inquire, as they may have come up with some slapshod translation, if you and our deal still holds for the minor boon in exchange for a correct and proper translation. On all terms, of course.
Of course. Our agreement remains unchanged.
Wonderful. I will have that denoted in the script. He will simply bow, and he will withdraw.
Madeline comes up to Ulrich. Bows.
Lady Madeleine, how are you?
It has been far too long since the two of us last saw each other.
It has, hasn't it?
She comes over and actually hugs him.
This is Elysium.
It's not like she would just. It's not like
It's very like kiss on
embellished
both
or anything.
cheeks, very, very French.
Yeah, very French.
There are still crusaders in these lands. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't know better, it seems that Madeline maybe is wanting to Irene to see it. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, and she will just look at him. She, like the normal courtesy is still there, but she just looks at him. You do not believe that she would be foolish enough to interfere in this place of all places, no?
He looks at you with a slighted stare and says, "No such words here, please."
I understand.
Good. But no.
She looks around, see the others.
He's actually lying, so I'm going to have a make him roll.
Ooh.
When Madeline looks around, she sees Aldrich just kind of there with a bottle of wine. Just not talking to anyone, being his little Tremere Island.
I think that's 5 successes.
If it helps,
What dice roll are
for
we?
the record, Bishop.
What dice roll are we?
That is a fair question.
I just rolled in dice roll a 1.
If it helps, Bishop, I just want to point out Saladrin is hoping by auctioning some stuff from her that she does show up. I'm trying to goad her into showing the fuck
Nope.
up.
She just nods and just says, "So, my lord, are you looking to purchase? I saw by the notations that you have yourself donated, but are you seeking to get something home for yourself?"
That and to visit my good granduncle.
Hmm. Well, it seems as though we will not be the only ones bidding, but I wish
Well,
the
I'd
best of luck
hope
to you.
not. With so many Canaanites, it'd be rather boring if only 3 of us were to be bidding now, wouldn't it?
Very true.
But I suppose we shall see. I think the rate at which these are going to go may quickly spiral out of control. Quite curious to see how the new princedom benefits from this, and how they choose to use their new prestation. But I suppose that's the after party. In any case, I believe the auction is about to start, so
Yes.
if you'd like, we can sit together. Irene?
Madeline nods and will take him up on his offer.
Irene, you okay?
Yes, of course, my lord.
You seem absent-minded.
I suppose that's a confirmation.
By the way,
Yes,
Bishop, just one
strange.
question. Are these auctions taking place over 2 different nights? So are we going to bid tonight, go home, come back tomorrow night, or is it all the same evening?
Different nights.
Okay, cool.
SG. I'm assuming none of the items for auction are being presented right now, correct?
Oh no, they're being brought up right now.
Okay, so they are being
all
brought
of you begin to see on the right end of the hall figures armored to the point where they're armored like as in masked, so they're completely armored. Begin carrying out the various items. For auction this evening. For all of those unaware, these items are a very strange and alluring-looking knife, razor-sharp, well-preserved. Embezzled with all sorts of beatific crustaceans, shall we say. And looks exceedingly well crafted. Does anyone here have crafts blacksmithing?
Nope.
I got a cult.
I was going to say, I do ever have academics history if any of the markings on the thing, if any of the markings on the knife mean anything. I'll just speak like a bazillion languages.
Well, you can understand it's native to Constantinople, or it's Byzantine, and it seems fairly old. Take a century. It looks. I'll work off of people's melee stats. It looks very well crafted. There is a painting. Very, very abstract piece of art that everybody knows to have been contributed by a local ancilla of Clan Malkavian. Again, stunning levels of craftsmanship on display, resembling the original Trinity in a rather odd light. Then there is simply a simple journal. Doesn't look particularly remarkable. But perhaps it is the contents which holds value, rather than the cover of the book. Then there is a simple ring, which again doesn't look particularly remarkable. It is a gold signet ring.
Can I roll history to identify who the signet belongs to?
Yes, I'll give it to you for free. Again, it belongs. It seemed to have belonged to one of the major noble families of Constantinople. Not the royal family, not the emperor's family, but one of the. I guess you could say families directly below them, which is still to say people who wielded enormous amounts of power within the city and across the empire. Then there is a mirror, although it is covered, and it is made almost entirely out of silver, from what you can see.
So wait, Bishop, you have now just confirmed that in your setting, Harry Potter and the motherfucking vampire crossover, because that's the Mirror of Erised. It shows what people most desire. I'm just pointing that out right now.
I'm English. It is. It's the way it's been. The way the mirror is made is that it kind of has these sort of weavy, watery carvings. It's a hand mirror, so the circumference of the mirror, it almost looks like silver waves washing off the mirror. Then there is a jewelry box. Again, a very innate looking jewelry box, but otherwise unremarkable. Although they don't carry it by holding it. They're holding a stand which it is placed on. And it is kind of slid onto one of the large tables. Then there is simply an envelope with a wax seal with the clan insignia of Toreador. Another envelope with the clan insignia of La Sombra. A blade that burns with green flame kept within a metal and glass box. A large statuesque arm. And you can see the fleshy part on the side where it had been severed, i.e. right up to the shoulder. And then there is an envelope with the clan insignia of Tremere. All of these things are placed on the large table to the left of Gabriella.
Super
Quick
crypt.
question.
Yeah.
The jewelry is there as well, right?
Yes, actually, I skipped over that for some reason. Don't know why. Um,
Just wanted to make sure.
yeah, no, that is actually shown to people as it's brought up. It's basically brought up in a large. Basically, it's a large chest, and then it is when it is brought up to the stage. It is opened and it is shown to everybody as if to say, yes, this is full of the shiny thing, and it is closed.
I had a question. The
You can see. Oh, sorry.
it's all right. Was that about the jewels?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you finish before I ask my question.
Oh no, it's fine. I just finished.
Alrighty. The the jewelry box, was that mentioned?
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to roll some occult on that.
Yes, if all of you wish to go up and inspect things, of course, Saladrin, you've already been getting your academic stuff from it, so I assume you've already been up there inspecting the items. But yeah, there's always like several guards right next to everybody who's inspecting the items. They don't have their weapons out. It's just a case of they just happen to be very close to you. If you go up Aldrich, you ask Gabriella or any of the other. Any of the other figures to, if you may have a look and inspect the item, you may do so. You're not the only one. You look at the jewelry box. You want to roll me perception occult.
Oh my god. I've just had the best, worst idea I've ever had.
Great. Perception or intelligence?
Perception.
Perception, okay.
Can I roll as well?
Yes.
Bishop, can I direct you to Revelations of Duat, the second power, the way the virtues. Knowledge is the key to these, blah, 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 blah. To judge the dead, enable us to weigh the virtues and sins. The Setite practicing weigh the virtues is able to identify any mortally compelling deeds performed by once living being, whether they're using the power on a ghost or a corpse or a vampire. Knowledge is the key. For every success, a different deed, from saving a child from a crocodile's jaws to murdering a rival or a lover, appears in the sorcerer's mind, vivid in detail. On a botch, it reveals something about the sins of the person to those surrounding him. I want to weigh the virtue of the arm because it's a part of a kindred. It should still work.
Yes, you may do so.
It was perception occult.
It was perception occult. Okay, so
3 each.
3 each. Well, that makes this fairly simple. Yes, Aldrich and Madeline, you both ascertain that there is extremely heavy warding on this box. Extremely heavy warding on this box. And not necessarily using magic that you're familiar with.
Okay.
This is not the sorcery that either of you use.
ST, may I look at the painting?
Yes. You can roll me perception expression if you'd like to ascertain what maybe the painting's trying to say.
I'd like to do that as well, if that's all right.
Okay. None of you are Malkavians, so difficulty will be 9.
I do not have expression. I have empathy.
Definitely expression on this one. The perception or perception crafts if you have area of expertise in painting.
I do not. I do have a possible technique to understand the painting, but I don't think that will allow me to do so. But I will ask if just to be certain.
Okay, while we do that, Saladrin.
I get 2 defining deeds, either good or evil, that this person has perpetrated in vivid detail.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to be that player and use that weird ass power that the GM had never contemplated being a thing.
You see it gliding down. Quite literally, mutilating a young boy before bringing what remains of their corpse to this guy, where the vision summarily goes blank, switching you up to the execution of what you can see only guess almost certainly several Tremere, because some are throwing fireballs at it and attempting to drain its blood as it kills about a good half dozen.
So I see the creature's death.
No. You see it murdering several Tremere.
Interesting. Saladrin smiles his snaky smile. But I have another question on the painting. Can I roll because it's a Malkavian? Can I roll maybe wits enigmas to try and puzzle it out?
Yes, you can roll enigmas. It'll be the same diff, but you can definitely use those dice instead of your expression.
Oh. If we're allowed to use enigmas, I would like to do that because I do have that.
Do you have more dice than your expression in enigmas?
I don't have any dice in expression, so.
Oh, what's your enigma stat?
My enigmas is 2.
Okay, yeah, just you haven't rolled yet, I think. So yeah, just roll me
No, I have
deception enigmas.
I've sorry to add on to the pile, Chris. I have a question to ask before I make my roll again on the painting.
Okay.
Would my academics in arts help my roll at all?
Yeah, if you have in arts, I'll say you can roll that instead at -1 diff. Okay.
I know nothing of this painting, and I care even less.
Yeah, it appears the message in this painting is, well, it makes sense to you that it was done by a Markavian now, because it's very difficult to understand.
As you know something, he's going to walk past Aldrich, and he's going to stop when Aldrich's done his roll to understand the painting, because I'm going to say something before I leave.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was going to ask if I would be allowed to use my aspects or to actually speak to the painting, to the guard.
1 second, I just need to double check
No problem.
something. Do you inform the host that you are going to speak to the painting?
Yeah, now I asked for permission first. I would not just do it.
Okay.
I asked permission to either use aspects or to try to make a spiritual link with the painting.
Okay, you can use that ability. What else do you want to do with your aspects?
I was just merely going to use it to see if it can help me perceive it better, but I only have aspects 2, so I don't think I can.
No, Spirit's Touch might have helped, but not mundane aspects. It's you see in fantastic detail, but it's incredibly vivid and colorful and lovely, even more so than when you weren't looking at it with all specs. But it doesn't really help you decipher what it's trying to express.
Okay. Then would you prefer me to roll my wits enigma first or roll my spell first?
Roll your wits enigmas, then your spell.
All right. And that's 1 extra D.
Can I maybe?
My wits enigma roll is possibly 3 or at least 2.
think
It was difficulty 8, or was it?
it was difficulty 9.
No, then it's
You should also be rolling perception enigmas, not wit enigmas.
no, it is perception enigmas.
Okay. Yeah, 2 successes. It appears to be some kind of it seems to be some sort of prophecy, but it's made in a very it seems to be presented in a way that communicates I'm actually going to see if I can look at the word for it. That it is recurrent. Rather, this is a prophecy of something that has happened, that will happen again, that involves the Trinity.
And this is referring to the Canaanite Trinity or the Christian Abrahamic Trinity?
The Trinity of the Dream.
Also, an important note: the Abrahamic faith. It's only Christianity that has a Trinity that don't.
Yeah, and technically, the Trinity of Constantinople viewed themselves as representative of that particular Trinity as well. Yeah. Yep, and your spell, you get.
I'm about to find out. I get nothing.
Okay, yeah, no, you're left with a migraine. It appears the madness of Markavian has leaked into the spirit of his painting as it leaves you feeling uncomfortable and unnerved, but otherwise unharmed.
Saladrin's gonna just stand next to Aldrich for a moment. He has he's facing. He's doing that thing where you're facing one direction and Aldrich is facing the other. And he'll say, "Good evening, Aldrich the White. I assume that you're well."
Certainly, and yourself?
Oh, I'm quite reasonable. Thank you for asking. I'm curious. You know that good Omar is very interested in the acquisition of that arm.
Is that so?
Yes. But I know some information about it that would make Mr. Shadid's night a much more pleasant one. However, I said that I would come to you first and make the offer. A minor boon given in script, and I will not tell him what it is that I will. So you will not have to deal with a fiercer rival. What?
Well, I didn't make any noise. That was somebody else. But
Yes,
That was like,
Aldrich's-
hang on, Bishop, did I do something stupid or wrong or something? Because that was like a really weird noise.
no, it was great. Go, carry on.
Thank you.
Aldrich smiles a bit and turns to Saladrin and says, "Is this how you intend to make friends?"
No. However, ultimately, it's not your hands that are dirty. A man dressed in red, and I'm led to understand in your people's culture, robes denote something. But needless to say, it was his creature who died, and the creature still lives, having killed your fellows. Isn't that fun?
I'm afraid you've some misconceptions about my people. Robes signify concealed cock or tits.
So you mean to tell me that this individual, he describes the man he saw, wears his fancy clothing to conceal his cock and tits.
Sounds very
Perhaps.
ominous. Good regent.
Perhaps.
That's fine, Master Aldrich. I will speak to Omar on the topic. Many blessings this evening. Snake, 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 snake.
You sneak your way to, I assume, Omar Shadid.
Yes, to Omar Shadid.
Hello! How are you doing?
I am led to understand, good sir, that you are very interested in that arm.
Oh, Hezekiah, you've been telling you stories again?
My friend,
Stories.
I know that this is a rather charming act, but it is an act. You and I are businessmen. Let us discuss business.
I'll have you know I'm always this cheerful. But yes, what did you wish to offer?
I can give you 2 very important, pertinent pieces of information about that arm that will allow you to break someone else's arm, should you choose. In exchange, he shrugs. I'm tempted. Yes, he's going to try for a major boon with Omar, but we're going to see where it goes. In exchange for a single major boon paid in script.
Hmm.
You have my word. The information is valuable.
He thinks for a moment, and say, "Okay, allow me to update. Allow me to have a quick word with Gabriella, so we can get the transference of script sorted out, and then we can talk."
As you wish.
So yeah, he'll literally just get Gabriella to update the script, so you have more and he has less.
If you'd like to just tell me how much his script is worth of the major boon, because I don't know. I'm just the point that I'm literally sitting there like script.
There you go.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
It came out my nose. Okay.
Because of reasons.
He'll sit there and he'll say, that arm belongs to one of their big wigs. He'll describe him physically, if you know who that is. Well, rather, it belongs to his pet, his personal servant. So much so that when I described it to him, poor old Aldrich decided to try and flim-flam me with talk of robes, cock and tits. An interesting generalization, to be sure. But not only that, he leans in very close. The creature killed several Tremere, butchered them with its own hands. And the creature whose arm that is still draws breath. Or doesn't. I don't know what their kind, but it still walks the night.
This causes Omar Shadi to be very, 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 very interested, because there's a lot of different possibilities wrapped up in that information. Oh, well, that is very fascinating, good Saladrin. I shall make sure that it is kept between you and me. Thank you for that tip. It was very helpful.
It's interesting because in the middle of that verse, you went to the I'm from Liverpool.
I'm from Liverpool. I'm from Birmingham.
I'm from Birmingham.
No.
I own a bookstore in Birmingham.
I literally caught my breath and then the accent changed and I feel bad. But he's Omar Shadid. He's lovely. And yeah, no, he thanks you.
Sorry, Robbie, I'll tell you out of character. That was worth 90 script. I'm totally happy with that.
All right.
But yeah. Moving on. I'll just update single icon.
Now, did they present an item that has the Nosferatu symbol on it?
There's nothing of a Nosferatu symbol on it, no.
Okay. And I think it's relatively obvious people are kind of hovering around that arm. Al-Qadir will notice the people hovering around it, but he will not object or intervene himself with it, as he will simply keep looking at the painting and look around and see if there's any, signifiers of possible. Oh, I guess if there's NPCs around, any possible maybe, Assamites or Gangrels or Cappadocians interested in an item.
Not in these items, no. Not in what you're looking at. What are you looking for?
After looking at the painting, so I take notes of people surrounding the arm, but I do not try to interject. Then I was looking for possibly a scroll or a book that might belong to a particular Nosferatu.
No, nothing on the Nosferatu. Actually, you would know because it's already been made public that item is for sale tomorrow.
Yes.
So it is not. It is not present right now. This person seems quite interested in the you recognize her because she's the Gangrel Primogen. But to move on to Irene, because you rolled
Yes.
and you got 2 successes, which is quite a lot, given the diff. Yeah, it's a prophecy about the Trinity of Constantinople. It seems to be, or rather, it seems to be depicting a cycle. As obviously you know that the Trinity is gone. Trinity is dead. Or at least believed to be. Yet this depicts them falling of the city of Constantinople, by extension, falling, but the dream in its ashes surviving and rising again in the centuries to come in a new form. The images that you understand depict the new Trinity are genuinely new. They are not the representations of Michael, the Draken, and Antonius. But you also understand that Drakon can appear in many forms, and as such, perhaps he is the only member of the Trinity to be a part of a new one.
Chris, I don't know if there's a role for this, but do I recognize parts of these of this prophecy with stuff that I've seen either in visions or for real?
No,
I don't know, a dragon or something.
but you recognize the catastrophe that involves Mary in there.
Mm-hmm.
Although she's not explicitly shown.
Okay.
But yes, that is what you know.
Thank you.
And I think with that, we can begin our auction.
Hooray!
The Gangrel Primogen is the one of Edessa, not Constantinople, right? Yeah, words.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the Primogen of Edessa, not Constantinople.
Yes. And if you will allow it, I would like to be near her and see if I can get her attention before the auction starts.
Sure, you'll have a brief moment. The auction is literally about to start, so you have about 30 seconds of conversation. She barely registers you for the record. She kind of picks you out from the crowd as being like an Odessan Kana, but otherwise seems to barely even register your existence. Yes.
And he will, of course, bow to her to show some respect, and will simply state that we haven't met directly, but I have spoken through your childer before.
Ah, yes, Alkadir, that's what you were called, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You seem to have an interest in the same item that I do.
And he will nod, and he will kind of gesture to Aldrich and Saladrin and say, they do too. And I don't think they should have it.
Tell me, are you here of your own accord or representing your superiors?
I represent my clan, but we do have a relationship, and we do wish to continue that.
Good. Then perhaps we can cooperate on the acquisition of that particular subject of interest.
And he will just simply nod, and he will also state, And when you have the time, I have things that you may wish to hear.
Good. Please sit with me.
He will.
I'm going to
By the way,
BRB.
because he's some kind of madman and I love everything about him, I'm going to sit with Omar Shadi. Fuck yeah, Omar.
Yeah, I'm going to BRB for the briefest of moments, giving you a chance to talk, and then I will return and we shall start this auction, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just going to sit here rolling in my script, being like, yes, I hoard myself for you. These are my whorings.
Hey, there's nothing wrong being a whore.
I mean, who else is going to keep Irene in pretty things?
Well, assuming Irene could do that.
Hashtag life goals. Keep Irene in pretty things.
I mean, if you're planning to buy me stuff, that is all fine.
There
No
you
problem
go.
with that.
There you
Buy me
go.
pretty things.
To be fair, he's half thinking of buying the painting just so he can throw it off one of the double, triple walls of Constantinople because it's fucking annoying and he doesn't like it.
I mean, why wouldn't you like the painting just because you don't understand it?
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
If at first you don't understand, yeet the motherfucker.
I mean, or you could talk to people who would understand shit.
But that involves, yes, less eating.
I mean, isn't that why you're like Irene? Because she's like the canary of like the Brady Bunch.
Yep, we send Irene down the mine first. Why? 2 reasons. 1, because she'll go, and 2, because we value our lives.
I mean, that's how I see Irene, so, you know.
This is going to be interesting because as I said, I'm curious to see who's not here, who's put down bids on what.
Mm-mm.
I know. I'm tired of getting all these craft rolls, man. Why can't it be about agriculture? I have that.
Do you actually have craft agriculture?
No, I have academics agriculture. I have finish off specifically farming. I actually have a lot of stuff when it comes to tending the land.
We all make mistakes.
I was going to say, do you have the green path?
Not yet. I want that though. I'm going.
I love how we're chatting here out of character because no one actually wants to talk in character because we're all sitting with our precious NPCs.
We're all big vampires. We're planning against each other. So why would we talk to each other?
There you go.
Madeline will actually talk to Irene at this point. Both of them during the door.
God damn it! But we were having such a nice conversation, Peter. Why you gotta be that guy?
Shush. She just leans
Let
in.
the man role play. God damn it.
So, Irene, are the 2 of you going to have a tour? I'm assuming that, well, I know that this is not your first time, but I would assume the 2 of you would spend some time in Constantinople.
I have never been here before, and I would love to have a tour of the
Oh.
city if we have time for it.
I am sure that Ulrich would love to show you around. I would join you if you would like, of course.
Well, as far as I know, there are no plans yet, so feel free to suggest something.
Well, let's see how tired we are after the auction. But the 3 of us should. If the opportunity presents itself, relax a bit. For a little while at least.
And silence of anticipation.
That was a very
Everybody
cool
hears the
world.
same metallic sound they heard before as Gabriella again causes it to crumple substantially as it lets rip a giant metallic sound across the entire hall. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first item. One of the guards picks up the knife. And she says, "This great craftwork, about a century old, an inspiration for the late Gregory's own inventions, and an artifact of one of Constantinople's established families, or they used to be. We shall start the bidding for this item at 15. I see 15. I see 20. I see 25. I see 30. 30?
35.
35. Let's look at gentleman. Where is he sat?
He's sitting with Omar Shadid, wherever Omar is.
Let's
Yeah,
look at gentleman.
I'll happily be that one snake among the shadows. It's fine, don't worry about it.
The fine robed gentleman just off from my center. She points at you as if to like say, that guy. I see 35. 35, is that all? 35 going once. 35 going twice. 35 going 3 times. And sold to the fine robed gentleman just off from my center. Congratulations. The item will be available for you at the end of the auction. Just speak with me after the fact and we'll have it either transferred to you personally or to whoever you need it to be handed off to. So I'm going to take 35 off of your stuff.
Did you add the 90 I got, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of stuff.
All right. Okay. All right. The next item, again a pale, slender-looking figure, armored with black cape that kind of runs over their left arm. Picks up the item. And he picks up the painting. Again, another masterwork, however this time contributed via one of our local and well-respected ancillary among Clan Arcavian. From what I have been told, it is not a prophecy, but an expression of events in motion in both the past, the present, and the future tense. The most unique piece. I'm sure if even you are not able to pierce the enigma of the work itself, you shall surely find it to be a fine addition to your haven. The bidding for this item shall start at 20. I see 20. I see 25. For the record, whenever I say this and I don't mention the person, that means they're just a generic NPC. So they're not a known face to any of you. I see 25. I see 30. 35. 40. 40. 40 going once. 40 going twice. 40 going 3 times. And sold. And she gestures towards a rather a noble-looking but esoteric-looking gentleman, a middle-aged Caucasian male with a shaved beard and shaved head. She says, "To the fine gentleman from Antioch, I believe." She smiles and points as if like she's kind of proud of recognizing that point. We shall have the item available for you at the end of the auction. Thank you for your participation. Your contributions to the city are most welcome. And now, for something a bit more direct, shall we say. Jewelry taken directly from the coffers of Constantinople's former imperial family. A shame, but want not waste not. As you can see, there is quite a substantial degree of wealth in here, in the form that you'd be hard-pressed to find elsewhere. Not only to some of the finest trinkets in the region, but in the world. I'm sure many mortals and Canaanites, as I'm sure I believe I see a few among you, would be quite happy to get their hands on them. So, we will start the bidding for this jewelry, and yes, it is the entire chest. You're most welcome. At 20, and we're just going to wait for Evan to come back in. There you go. Evan, just in case you're interested in the jewelry, the bidding for it started off at 20.
Okay.
I see 20. Now I see 25. 30. 35. 40. 45. 50. At this point, it's narrowed down to 2 people. You may recognize one of them. Need to just get them up real quick. Dear Lord. That person. 55. 60.
Sorry, who was bidding on a bishop? I didn't see the picture. I have no idea who that is, so I don't care.
Madeline, you recognize this person as Camille from Bera.
Yeah.
She's an adventurer.
Ugh, Bera.
65. 65 going once. 65 going twice. 3 times. And sold. Sold to the Right and Honourable Seneschal of Bera, Lady Camille. Thank you for your contributions to the city, my good Seneschal. She looks around. And now a more unassuming subject of discussion. She actually personally takes a book, the journal, and opens it. A journal of a Setite explorer who has extensively catalogued detailed information, locations, and potential prizes of various ruins and places of interest around the county of Edessa. Donated, of course, by this explorer, the Setite neonate Hekaib. Thank you, Hekaib. Your contributions to the city are appreciated. No, it's a journal cataloguing. As if Hekaib keeps a fucking diary.
I mean,
He's not Sabrina, the
Today I-
teenage witch. What the fuck is this?
I just remember.
I was going to say, today I stole from these people. They have this. It was very nice.
Today I
was
took
very
two little
pretty.
neonates. Today
They
I
were-
took two little neonates from Edessa into a Setite temple.
They're so jealous.
It seems to not be a temple after all. There seems to be something beneath it. God damn it. Oh boy. Okay, now Irene is just not staying
If
calm.
only you had
or
this like
tries
a year
to.
and a half ago.
Yeah.
It's what he. It's I wonder if he maybe catalogued events that occurred in
Yeah,
that ruin.
yeah. Well, I don't have any money, so it's fine. It's fine.
I have no
Oh.
blues. God damn it! Oh,
Like Ulrich might see Irene just shift ever so slightly, but that's about it. Like,
Ulrich looks amused. Oh shit! I actually missed something. A second.
You could do them on the border.
Yeah.
No. I started down an auction for something that someone was supposed to bid on, so that's my bad. And I'm just double checking. Yeah, no. Okay. Then I do apologize. Jury actually goes all the way up to 105. And it goes to Gerard. Sorry, I'm wrong. My bad.
In that case, the Logran will bid on it.
Alright, well, we got Gerard at 105. That's what Camille taps out, so... You bid 110, I assume.
Yep.
And at that point, Gabriel will say, at this point, we'll be bidding in batches of 10.
Okay.
So Gerard will go up to 120. How far do you go up to? Do you go 130?
Yeah, 130.
Okay. 140?
I'll let him have it at 140.
Okay. It goes to 140. It goes to Gerard at 140. So
I bid him up by like a substantial amount. I'm happy with life.
Yeah. Let me just up. Okay. Is where he now stands. So the jury goes to Gerard for 140. My bad. That is my mistake. But anyways, the journal. She actually just opened it briefly to show you that, like, she opens basically up a couple of random pages. You see, you actually see there are notes inside as well. Like there's other, like this folded paper. Like maybe it's like a map of the layout of a place. So it's not just a journal; it's also like other loose pages within. She just opens a couple of random pages as to show that there's actual significant information in here. You do see a map of a of a ruin. You see its various details. And yeah, it looks fairly legit from what little you're able to see. So we shall begin bidding for this item at 30. 35? 40? 45? 50? 55? 60? 65? 70? 75? 75 going once. 75 going twice.
Just a question. Who is bidding? Is it someone we know?
I'll see if I can
Man,
get.
how mean.
You see, it's actually. One sec.
Y'all are out for blood
This,
tonight.
this guy. And.
Look at him in his peasant hat. I don't trust him.
And. Oh no, not that one. The other one. This guy. This
Look
guy.
at him in his
What are we
not
doing?
peasant hat.
May I take a moment, Chris, to
Mhm.
lean back in my chair and just smile at him? I'm not gonna feel at least a little bit uncomfortable.
80. 80 going once. 80 going twice. This guy's about to win it. 80 going 3 times. Sold. To the gentleman as I've heard him described in his not peasant hat. She just kind of leans over to like and kind of looks at the random neonate who said that. My apologies for that rude individual. And thank you for your contributions to the city. She looks again. Next, we have a ring said to be the fetter of a spirit. For anyone unaware, a fetter is an item that ties a spirit to this world and keeps them from moving on. Quite a useful asset to have on side, as they are quite possessive of their fetters. And if you were to possess one, no doubt you would be able to make quite extensive use of the spirit in question. Because of the rather unique and supernatural nature of this item, we will begin bidding for it at 60.
120. Hi, that is my dick. My dick is on the table.
You see Much of Bone stand up and say 150. He wants it.
150 going once.
150 going twice.
Oh shit! For you like him for me? What?
Oh, The merchant moan stood up and said 150.
Oh. 200.
200 going once.
210.
220.
230.
My. It does become interesting now.
240, and I won't gargoyle.
Did you say 240 and I won't bid on the gargoyle alarm? You seem to be popping in and out, Evan. Evan, are you there? Speak to us.
Oh yeah, shit. For some reason, my interest.
Yeah, you keep kind of coming in and out. Did you say 240 and I won't bid on the gargoyle alarm?
240, and I won't help Omar Shadid bid on the gargoyle alarm.
Does he say that out loud? All of that?
Yes, 100% all of that.
Followers of set, ladies and gentlemen.
Omar Shadid begins clapping.
Irene is just shaking her head. 'Cause...
The room is actually quite interested in that statement and has now made them very interested in the gargoyle alarm.
250.
Saladrin smile. By the way, can you guys hear me or can you not?
No, I
can
can
hear
hear
you now, yeah.
Okay, Saladrin smiles back and he says, "Unless you'd rather risk losing it all the way."
Did I stutter, Solodrin? 250.
260.
270.
Alcadir will whisper to the Grand Gopimbergen and said, if we're lucky, this will make our job easier.
280.
Did you say 280?
Yeah,
Yep.
he did.
Aldrich will sit down.
$280 going once. 280 going twice. 3 times. Nobody else? No? Well then. Sold to Saladrin. A pleasure.
As he takes his seat, he will say to Omar Shadid, "You need only ask, and the followers of Set will provide, should there be a deficit on the arm."
Thank you for your contributions to the city. Saladrin. Truly, you follow in the footsteps of Judas.
Did she actually say that?
Yeah.
His response is, "Well, what can I say? My kind have always had a nature for putting hypocrites in the ground where they belong."
A little bit, you actually could hear chuckle at that.
We are known to import a wide variety of spices, yes. Okay, allow me to modify your script for you, Saladrin. Okay, I'm actually going to PM you how much you've got left, because it might be more than you think. I was running some math on it, and I think I actually got a bit more. There you go, that's how much you got
Hooray!
left. Okay. How exciting. I honestly didn't think we get a bidding war in so early. I'm quite proud if I do say so myself. But before I indulge myself any further, Vamira. No one knows what enchantment it has been imbued with, or whom did as such. All that is known about it is that it can reveal the innermost, be they pure or perverse, desires of whoever it is directed towards. Now, I don't think anyone here would like their innermost desires being revealed to the world, and I like to pride myself on being an individual that respects privacy. So we shall assume the court is taken at its word on this one. But feel free to test it immediately after the fact, if you wish to verify its authenticity, and should, for whatever reason, the mirror be inactive, we will refund you in full. I should say reimburse, because refund is a bit modern. We shall start bidding for this item at... She kind of swirls her hand as if like she's kind of deciding on a win. 50. See 55. 60. 65. 70. 75.
85.
85. Just in time.
90.
100.
110.
120.
130.
150.
150 going once. 150 going twice. 150 going 3 times. Sold. To the Honourable Asamite on the pew over there. Thank you for your contributions to our city. It is most appreciated.
He will incline his head politely.
Was that the mirror just gone?
It's the mirror, yes. Went for 150. So I will update your script, Kadir. I'm sure you can do. Actually, I'll just give you the. I'll give you how much you have left. The mirror belongs to you now. So, where is that? Just updated your script for you. And Gabriel, once again, look around. Looks to the next item. Ah! One of several contracts we have at this auction. She holds up the envelope with the clan insignia of Toreador, the insignia of Clan Toreador. a boon signed in blood by Beatrice of Clan Toreador, keeper of Elysium for the domain of Bera, that she will soul paint any individual within your resident domain should you hold this contract. Now, I am somewhat at a loss, as I am not very familiar with the art of soul painting. Though I've heard rumors that it can reveal almost anything about anyone. From the purity of their soul to the most surface level of details and secrets. To their days as a mortal, to their darkest nights as a Cainite. So, shall we start the bidding for this at 80? I see 90. I see 100. This guy's bidding on it, by the way. He's competing with God damn it, I keep using me things. He's competing with this individual, Madeleine. You recognize this man. I see 100, 110, 20, 130. Sorry, did I repeat 30? I think I did. 140, 200. 200. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. 300. $300. Once. Twice. 3 times. 4th time. 5th time. I'm just teasing you. Sold. It's the good Nosferatu. Feel free to stop by at the end of the evening and pick up your prize. Well, let's keep the momentum going, shall we? She picks up the stand. She just kind of grabs it. Some of you may be wondering why I do not simply directly pick up this jewelry box. That is because it is, well, extremely difficult for anyone of our kind to grasp, and from what I have gathered, any mortal or other supernatural. It has been discerned that this particular box has been layered with wards after wards, and none of them can be disenchanted, at least not simply. I would know. I've seen many try. The perfect place to keep your treasures secure. Of course, some of you may be wondering, well, if it is so secure, how am I supposed to open it? Well, there is a very particular unlock mechanism. An audible password that will temporarily disenchant all the wards and open the box for you. And that is what comes with this item. The vault itself and its key. Although I suppose that goes without saying. It would be very dubious of us to sell you a safe without the means to open it now, wouldn't it? Still. If we may begin the bidding at... Again, she kind of swirls her hand. 40? 50? 60? 70? 80? The Merchant of Bones is bidding, by the way. 90? 100? 125? 150? Going once. Going twice. 3 times. Sold. To the Cappadocian Primogen of Edessa. Thank you for your contributions to our city. The item and the means to unlock it will be provided to you at the end of this auction. But let's not stop here. We're yet to be done. She holds up another envelope. This one carries with it the seal of Clan La Sombra. Now, as many of you may know, both Constantinople and its outlying regions possess many secrets held not only by its once venerated elders, but also those who worked beneath them keep their own treasures safe. And maybe just a few they may have procured, of course, with permission of their elders, so that they might keep their treasures safe. There are many green eyes, after all, in the night, and sometimes it is wise to defer, to delegate to those who would be less suspected of possessing such treasures. These are the ones that Clan La Sombra, primarily myself, have procured and kept safe for the past century and a half against those who would dare to rob them from this great domain and its rulers. Quite a prize, I assure you, as one of those who kept them safe. In this envelope is the location and the key to unlocking said vault. And I believe we'll start for bidding for it at 90. $100. 150. I see 200 from the Sheriff of Edessa. I see 250. 300 from the Regent of Bira. She says that. She's referring to this guy.
Cheap hat man.
Of course, the peasant hat guys was a Tremere the whole time. 350. $400 over to Gerard. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Oh. Sold to the Sheriff of Edessa. Thank you for contributing to our city, Lord Gerard. You do Antonius proud. One second, so I modify his script.
Because he spent an impressive amount of script.
Yeah, he spent 400 there, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Down there. Alright, I'm just covering some stuff. I should really start recording who's winning all these items. I'm just going to do that real quick. Alright, so Saladrin, you have the knife.
Mm-hmm.
The painting. Who acquired the painting again?
I thought an NPC got the painting. Unless Aldrich got it.
I think it was. No, I don't think Aldrich went for the painting. Let's see. Dory went to Gerard, if I recall. Went to Gerard. Got Hekaib's journal again. I think it might have been. Was it you, Alkadir? I know you picked one of these up. You
I
picked up
picked
the mirror. You picked up the mirror.
Yeah, then Gerard got like 2 different things.
I think the journal went to the NPCs.
Yeah.
It was the one who had the picture of Werner Roach from The Witcher.
Oh,
He got the notebook.
nice. Mirror of Desire went to Alkadir. We're all winners tonight. jewelry box goes to Merchant of Bones. Sandra also has the Ray Fetter. Soul Painting went to an NPC. Vault went to Gerard. And I believe that is everything thus far. Yes, I believe so. Then we shall move on. Someone, as Gabriella gestures and says something in Italian to a masked-looking figure, picks up the glass box with a metal frame that possesses the burning blade. And she says, "This, ladies and gentlemen, is a blade created by a traveling Assamite wandering through Constantinople. Given as a gift to the elders of this city, it was a weapon. It was said that is stated to never dim, no matter how many times it strikes its quarry. Meant to send a message that Constantinople burns forever brightly, and its reach eternal." And I'm quite happy to see that with all of you here this evening, that sentiment has proven quite true. The Assamite involved would be quite proud. So, should we begin the bidding? Let's start at 60. 75. Odd number. 80.
100.
100.
150.
Gerard bets 160.
180.
He bets 200.
I'm fine with that. He can spend his spread.
Someone speaks up. They say 250.
Oh, damn.
Gerard pushes to 300. She falls silent.
I will whisper to the Primogen how much she wants it.
She says, "I don't."
Simple as that, then.
Right, because hang on, I'm just doing the basic arithmetic here. This dude has spent over 800 script.
Mm-hmm.
He is the sheriff. He's been
That
there.
doesn't make a difference. I worked out how much he must have taken out a litany of boons because I worked out based on the thing how many boons he had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap! Okay, I look okay. Bishop,
Now you're beginning to put it all together.
no, Bishop, because I know something about this auction that I don't think everyone else here knows, and that I don't think you've made public.
No, that's fine. That is 300. He falls silent. Rather, Gangrel, she falls silent. Going once. Going twice. 3 times. Lord Sheriff, you are on fire. Well, you'll be setting your opponents on fire, it seems. Thank you for your contributions. You'll have a lot to collect at the end of this evening. There's that. And Gabriella. She remembers something underneath her breath. Takes the head.
You just became very muffled.
Oh, sorry.
Just let me
The host, Gabrielle, she muffles something underneath her breath. She shakes her head, gives a rather sardonic smile. It's that kind of, it's a little bit smug. I have a feeling this will be the topic de rigueur of this evening. And she picks up, or rather she has her compatriots pick up the sort of wooden block that the gargoyle rests on. It's actually held in place. There's like kind of wooden clips that kind of keep it from falling over, because it's literally, it's not just like half an arm, it's literally the arm all the way up to almost the shoulder. So it's quite long. It's very bulky. A preserved gargoyle arm. Don't ask. I see a lot of suggestive eyes in the crowd, so how about we start the bidding for this one at 150? I see 160. I see 200. Let's go in increments of 50. $250. 300. Omar Shadid nods to you, Saladrin, and he says 500. 500.
By the way, Robbie, you're muted.
Oh no, I know.
Okay, just
550. 600 from Omar Shadid. She goes 700. Omar Shadid goes 800.
Oh my! Haha!
Ah. $900. $1,000.
For the record, he hasn't actually asked me for anything yet, so I'm just kind of sitting there like, how much script do you have? Mind you, it's Omar Shadid, which kind of answers that question in and of itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so much indeed. Like, of course he has fuck tons of boons. Of course he does. He's just a harmless old man. Nothing suspicious here. Going once.
Kidir will just gesture to the Primogen.
She nods at you.
I'm sorry.
She nods at you as if it's for you to go ahead.
I was allowing her to speak for me since she had more clout. So it was more.
In which case, she'll say 1100.
And like that, your 100's fit in the hole.
She actually stops for a moment. Gabrielle says going once. And when she looks at you, Saladrin,
Saladrin contemplates. He kind of his snake eyes kind of fall half closed as he appears to be contemplating. 1,550. He turns to Omar and nods. Actually, no. I'm going to say to Omar, I'll give him the extra to go to that, right, so he can make the bid.
Emma will do it. 1,550.
Oh shit! Hang on. Wait, Evan just did a brain gaff. Sorry. What was the current total? Before that, brains.
Before that, it was 1,100.
I meant 1,150. My bad. My
Oh,
dyslexia actually confused two numbers in my head.
We're going in increments of 100 at this point, so...
Okay, 1,200 then. Brain. I can fucking use it today. Sorry.
Definitely hesitant faces at this point.
Kidir again will just that's it. We'll gesture again to the Primogen.
Oh, sweetheart, don't go writing checks your ass can't cash.
I know what I have. I'm allowing her to use it.
1,300 from the Gangle Primogen.
Saladrin looks at Omar and he shakes his head, but he leans in very closely and he whispers. Actually, no, he's going to write something down on a piece of paper because Auspex is a thing here.
Yeah.
He's going to write on a piece of paper, just because they buy it doesn't mean they're going to be leaving with it. You said that was the prevailing attitude of the Lasson.
His head bobbles as in, like, as if to express, that's a fair statement. And so Gabriella will say going once. Going twice.
1,300. Or did they already say 13?
No, they're
We're at 13.
13.
They were 13.
13. 14. 1,400.
Again.
Oh, okay. Al-Qadir bringing the heat. He wants it.
I believe that'd be 1,600 then, correct?
No, it'd be 1,400.
That'd be 15. I just did 14.
All right, so 15 then.
Primogen's going to push her luck a bit, and she's going to fish to see if she can get anything out. She's going to she's going to say 1450, which she knows is a bit illegitimate because we're going in increments of 100. Now she's going to have a roll to see if she gets away with it, because she's fairly high status, so she might. So Gangrel Primogen being cheeky, she's got to roll her manipulation plus her expression. Well, yes, with that roll she definitely gets away with it. That's 7 successes on a roll to kind of like, hey, wait, nudge, nudge, come on, Gabriella. We're buddies, right? Gabriella strains a little bit. She says, given this very late stage of the bidding process, I will allow bidding increments of 50. She looks not happy by saying that. The Primogen has irked her significantly.
I'm waiting for the count.
Just going once.
1,500.
$1,600.
1,650.
Do you have that amount of script? I actually need to double check.
I assume terrible things happen to us if we put our asses on the line and can't pay.
Oh, you'll be kicked out of the mate.
Nice.
Let me go ahead and tell you, Chris, I'm not going to bid what I don't have.
Yeah. Just double checking because we're at very high numbers now, so I need to actually be very sure.
I sent you my math.
So we got 1650.
Yep.
1650.
1750.
Let me check this real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's the thing. 1750.
Aldrich looks at Al-Qadir. And he smiles a little bit, gives him a nod, and sits down.
All right. Going once. Going twice. 3 times. Sold. Al-Qadir. How very interesting. How very interesting. Thank you, Al-Qadir.
And again, he inclines his head politely.
Bishop, how many more items are there left on the auction slate?
There is one. At least for this evening. Read the last one.
Saladrin puts his hand on Omar's shoulder and he says, he will say, come to our lodgings later and you and I will have a conversation, Mr. Steed.
Oh, it would be my pleasure, Mr. Saladrin.
Saladrin is going to walk through the crowd. He's still going to stay in the room, but he's going to walk to where the most likely place the auctioneer is going to descend the stage is.
Yeah, that'll be right there. There are 2 exits. She could take either, but she entered from the right side, so maybe that's where she'll leave off.
Cool.
In any
Continue.
case, you're at the front, so even if she does leave off the other side, you can reach her fairly quickly.
Okay, cool.
And Gabrielle will turn and will pick up the envelope with Clan Tremere's insignia on it. Ah, Clan Tremere, the ever-charitable Clan Tremere. What can I say?
Aldrich, from a seated position, expends all of his etiquette into a seated bow.
What can I say about this particular clan? She does so. She just kind of like, she just looks on both sides of the envelope, just kind of analyzing it in a very whimsical fashion. Very enigmatic fellows, aren't they? One could say they almost came from nowhere at all. And yet here they are. But what kind souls they are to gift Constantinople with the promise of tutelage in their own form of blood sorcery. Quite interesting, really. There were never many Tremere inside Constantinople up until a few years ago. But I think we can all say that they are very welcome here, particularly if they're providing us with services such as these. Needless to say, we all understand the value of blood sorcery. So let's not beat around the bush with this one. We'll be starting the bidding at 150. $200 from the Merchant of Bones. $250 from Omar Shadid. $350 from the Merchant of Bones. $400
From Scarlet Witch on a bad day?
You've heard of this person. She's the former primogen of Clan Tismisi of Edessa. Well, Jack, you have a pretty good idea of what happens if she wins.
She learns blood sorcery.
No. No, that Tremere, you're not going to see that Tremere again. They're going to be furniture.
Well, bro, you shouldn't have bit off more than you could chew.
Fair. $450 from Omar Shadid. $500 from the Merchant of Bones. $550. $600 from the Merchant of Bones. Omar Shadid goes $800.
Quick question. What's the relationship between ZBC and the Assamites right now?
Yeah. That's the relationship. It is spectacular. Meh.
It is a very meh. Okay, then. Alright, I'm keeping something in the back of my mind then.
Tismisi are kind of hateable to everybody just because of how arrogant they are. And brutal and violent and
Death to the
unpleasant.
flesh puppets.
But
Yeah,
they
those guys.
are polite.
But they are very polite. Well,
And
kind of, when it suits them. Under very specific situations, they're exceedingly polite. And then in every other situation, you are furniture. Going once. Twice. Three times. Four times. I'm surprised the gargoyle alarm is more valuable than blood sorcery. 5 times? No. Tutelage in the art of blood sorcery sold to Omar Shadid. Why am I not surprised? Congratulations. And thank you for your contributions. Always a pleasure. Well then. What an interesting night it has been. I did not expect things to turn out the way they did. But I suppose that's the beauty of our condition. Things are never quite as we imagined. Yeah, is it? And I think I will leave you all with that. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure to host you this evening, and I will still be here, of course. But tonight's series of auctions have come to a close. Thank you ever so much for attending, and I hope to see you later on, if not tomorrow. Carpe Noctem. She'll walk off the stage. Saladrin, you wish to catch her, if I presume, if I receive you correctly. Okay, she'll begin walking off. Yeah, she's walking off the same way she came on. She's followed by a retinue of about 12.5 people.
He will lean in, not conspiratorially, but he will lean in, and he will say, 2 points, noble auctioneer. One, I wish to submit another item for the auction tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
Would you like me to tell you what that is now, or shall we do it later in private?
Let's walk and talk.
Also, as I'm led to understand this is the practice, what boons are purchasable from Gerard de Chatillon?
She ponders to herself. One moment. I'll have to get the ledger out for that, and I do not carry it on my person, which is quite extensive, as I'm sure you can imagine. And many individuals contributed boons to this event, although I do recall the sheriff contributing a significant amount.
Quite so. Shall we have a look towards the ledger as we walk and talk?
Of course. Officers are right this way.
And I guess after you're done with Saladrin, I have some stuff I wish to speak to the gang of Primogen, and a message. I sent you a PM about a message to my elders.
Madeline will lean to her 2 companions. She will just say, that was quite more exciting than I believed it would be. Would the 3 of us perhaps take a short walk?
Free to. One person.
She's talking to Ulrich and Irene. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get up the overlays.
Oh, okay.
Being weird, being very strange. Yeah, Oracle agreed to go to walk with you. I am just going to cover Saladrin real quick.
Sure. No, it was just. I'm pretty much done, so it was just
Oh, was
wrap up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Which case, if you enter Gabriella's offices, all of her guards follow you. It's a little bit crowded.
It's fine. Slavin doesn't seem to mind.
Yeah. She will just go to one of the bookshelves and pulls out a very thick book. Very thick book indeed. But otherwise, I'm assuming she just gently just kind of lackadaisically puts it on the drops it on the table. It kind of gives a resounding slamming sound as it does so, and she begins to open it. Let us see. Boons contributed by Gerard of Edessa?
Yes, thank you.
Let us see. We have... As the player looks up part of his boons, because I know most of them, but not all of them, so I'm just going to double check. Let's see. He contributed a boon that is owed to one of his own. That is owed by one of his own clan. Several, in fact. And one owed by Abraham. I believe that's a Salubri. I may be wrong. I may be thinking of the wrong one. And then he personally took out, well, many minor boons from us. 20, to be exact.
20 minor boons. My. That is indeed a statement.
I believe he has submitted some boons owed to him from other clans as well. A Tremere, a Brujar, several Ravnos, and yes, it says yes. It was the wrong Abraham. I'm pretty sure that one is dead, but yes, it was a Ventrue of the same name, much less important.
Of this I have no doubt. Very well. The item, for the record, that I wish to disclose, he will remove a. He's wearing a satchel just on his belt. He will remove it and he will place down a number of pieces of paper on the table. This. Now then, you have a wonderful piece of masonry taken from the vaults of the former Patriarch Michael. You are already imminently aware of my other item that I will be having sold tomorrow. You and I have already come to our agreement as it pertains its sale, and I am entirely fine with this. This, he flicks the pages, is the continuation of that story that is depicted on the tablet, from the 4 brother and sister tablets to the one you currently possess.
Sorry, is he offering a tablet?
No, he's offering the transcript of what's written on all of the tablets, both in their original Sanskrit and in a translated copy. These can all be verified to be exact transcripts of the original, unaltered, unelicited, entirely verbatim, word for word. Anyone who would want one would want the other to complete the story, for I assure you it is a gripping tale. About the patriarch, he leans in sweetly, and the woman who loved the patriarch. Back before there was a Christ, back before there was a Rome, back before Babylon stood.
Interesting. I assume because you're providing transcripts, you don't have the tablets in your possession. I assume the same voices that speak to the veracity of your claim regarding Michael's killer would reinforce you on this.
Entirely so.
Very well, then I have no problem putting it up to auction.
Excellent. What price will you give me? After all, there are many of Michael's old supporters who stalk outside. They will want to know the answers to many questions that these pages may yield light upon.
You've already contributed one item to this auction, so I shall be generous and grant you another 200. Does that suit your needs?
That is acceptable. He'll push the papers across the table.
Excellent. In which case, I thank you for your contribution, Sir Lodrin. You've been a very generous figure in regards to this event, and I'd just like to say on behalf of the court that we thank you for it.
There will be a nod and a bow, and he will say, "Very good. I shall bid you good evening."
Have a pleasant evening, Master Saladrin.
And I'm going to snake my little ass out. Snake, 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 snake.
And I think there, if we're all good, we can end the scene. Alcade, you had something you wanted to say real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna tell the Gangrel Primogen, of course, thank you for your cooperation, and if you are, and outside of obviously the show of trust between us for this particular item, he will put up there, said if you were to be even more generous, there's another item the next day that my clan is interested in, and he will tell her about the particular item in question, since the other item has already been bidded on. Then he'd also say that we have confirmation of the particular missing people and who did it.
Interesting. Although we did make a rather strenuous purchase, I don't think I'll be able to bid on much more, to be completely frank with you. I have some baubles left to purchase with, but I may just look back towards purchasing some moons over the residents of Odessa. That may be worth more of my time than bidding at this point.
He will not, because it is not her responsibility to get those items. It was mine. But I felt that the item that we purchased together was the most important at the time.
Art was very important, and I do expect my contribution to be noted and for the item to be shared between our clans.
Yeah, and he said with the utmost honesty of it, and of course. That is the main reason why they even work together.
I know, just feel as if it bears reinforcing. But
Of
I'm
course.
glad we are on the same page, so to speak. In which case, I shall leave you now and wish you a pleasant evening.
And he nods. He will, as she's leaving, he will send a mental message to a particular warrior astromite that he was given by Heavenly, and telling him that to watch our particular item in question, mainly he's referring to the arm. I said I wouldn't doubt that there might be parties that are, yeah, I'll set up use the word, that are salty that we won that particular one.
He suggests it may actually be wiser to leave it in the hands of the Gangrel Primogen, as if you've bought it together, then you're both beholden to look after it. And
Yeah.
she is an elder.
Yeah, the main thing he's saying is just any protection the item needs, we are giving it to it. It's a top priority at this point. And the other thing I asked about, I sent you in Facebook, and we just responded to it there. And if they're okay with it, I guess we can have a scene with that particular NPC later.
On a side note, we're going to try and steal the arm tonight.
Nice.
Who the fuck are we kidding? The fucks do we give it to an elder? I'll fight an elder.
Well, I actually had the chance to use the lightning bolts.
God damn it. Anyway, I think with that then, here's your response. Resounding, do the thing. But I believe with that we can end the scene there. I'd like to thank all the players who have arrived for playing, and for all those who could not make the scene, I do apologize. I know it was not the most friendly time to folk across the pond. So for that, I do apologize, but I am happy that even if you're not able to make the scene, you're able to contribute regardless. I'm very grateful, and I think that we can end the scene. Thank everybody for watching and playing, and we'll see you all tomorrow.